refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, washers and dryers. Sears has a wide selection of craftsman's tools and accessories. Beautify your home with our lawn and garden tools. We have everything you need for outdoor entertaining. Located at 41 Victoria Street, Sears is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sears, reliable delivery, quality service, and everyday low prices.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Wednesday, May 8th. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. Not quite smooth sailing in terms of negotiations with the Prison Officers Association and the Ministry of National Security. But as we hear from Gary Moreno, some headway is being made.
There have been some developments in the ongoing talks between the Prisons Officers Association and the government. A spokesperson for the National Security Ministry telling us the Department of Corrections and the POA have been in negotiations with Labour Relations Management over the last 3 days, and both sides agreed that the GEHI and wage increase are not subject to negotiations. The main concerns are operational issues including health and safety, physical plant matters and security. Decisions, we're told, were made on a working maintenance list, a time continuum including schedules and deadlines. It was further decided, we understand, that all the elements in the strategic plan will be discussed as a standing agenda item at the monthly Department of Corrections and POA meetings. Action points will be discussed and progress signed out on by the POA. However, it was decided that work to rule action will continue by corrections officers, meaning no overtime or special programs and classes will take place. And while inmates are no longer on lockdown, visits are still restricted, and the Bermuda Police Service continues to assist with court and health transfers. There are, however, concerns that the work to rule action could lead to shortages on the night shift, a situation we understand will be reassessed on Monday. As to why the GEHI and salary increase elements have not gone to arbitration, we're told the arbitration terms of reference was a sticking point. The public sector negotiating team and the Prisons Officers Association are said to have struggled to come to a consensus on the terms of reference, but an agreement has now been reached. The terms of reference are now with the Attorney General's chambers for sign-off, and once the AG's chambers have signed off, the arbitration can commence. This is expected to be followed up again on Monday. According to our source, both parties are on a good wicket, but they are not yet out of the woods. However, there is a plan and negotiations will continue. Prison operations are not 100%, the spokesperson told us, but national security with reference to correction is under control and all deficiencies have been mitigated. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And we have reached out to POA President Timothy Sion for comment, but he is yet to return our calls. Elsewhere, negotiations are expected to continue tomorrow. Well, leisure air arrivals and visitor spending down in the first quarter of 2019. Those figures supplied by the Bermuda Tourism Authority, who reported 8.5% fewer air visitors with a loss of $776,000 in revenue. However, Glenn Jones, the BTA Chief Experience Development Officer, says the BTA aren't overly worried by these numbers, and here's why.
From New York City, where we get most of our visitors, the decrease in air capacity was 12%, and that's 5,000 fewer seats. So it already made the opportunity for the tourism industry to grow in the first quarter much more challenging. So there's no surprise. With some other factors as well, like Easter, for example, was in the first quarter last year, but wasn't in the first quarter this year, so there's some travel opportunities in the first quarter that just weren't present this time around. But overall, we're still pretty pleased with this performance, even though it's a down arrow. And the reason for that is because the growth in the first quarter last year was accelerated and so steep that we are really challenged to kind of meet that threshold this year. So it would be encouraging to hear that in 2017, the performance was also very, very strong, but in 2019 we've exceeded 2017. So it is true we are down in spending and arrivals in 2019 in the first quarter, but we are doing better than 2017. So overall, we think we're still in a very good position.
Is there any chance or opportunity at increasing airlift to Bermuda out of New York?
I think the opportunity is always there, and we're always working toward that opportunity, but whether or not we'll actually see any progress on that in this calendar year is unlikely, I would say. But we are doing some things this year, like the U.S. Open Tennis Partnership and some other things in sports tourism that we hope can have a positive impact this year, even with the air capacity situation as it is. So although our air capacity is lower, I should also point out not all the seats are full. So there are some things that we can continue to do, but of course, whenever air capacity is lower, it almost always means the price per seat goes up.
And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Do stay with us.
Every home tells a story. Your story is all yours.
Big kid, too cool. I make my own rules.
Wherever you live, whatever your style, express yourself.
My style says what's up. Don't wanna ever grow up.
So many styles to help tell your story and create your unique dream home.
We're gonna stand out, break away from the crowd.
Start shopping for furniture at U.S. prices today. Lifestyle Furniture is Bermuda's newest furniture store and is proud to be the home of the #1 furniture company in the world, Ashley Furniture. Visit lifestylefurniture.bm or stop by our showrooms today. Lifestyle Furniture, this is home.
You can count on us.
Fresh Harvestland boneless chicken breast, $7.99 per pound for all varieties. Save $3 on juicy red ripe strawberries, $4.99 for a 1-pound package. Save $1 on fresh Portuguese rolls, $4.99 for a package of 6. A sweet treat, Magnum ice cream bars, $5.39 for a 3-pack. 20% off all varieties and sizes of Rachel Ray's pet food. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more super specials.
You can count on us.
Thanks for staying with us. Elsewhere tonight, the vice chairman of the Tourism Working Group looking to make the island accessible to the disabled in time for the next World Triathlon event says businesses that are not accessible are losing out big time. Keith Simmons is in the group, which was assembled under the Bermuda Tourism Authority's National Tourism Plan. Here's Tarai Trott with our story.
Keith Simmons says many visitors to the island are disabled and will not patronize a business which they cannot navigate.
Businesses have a lot to gain. We at one point took some tourists to a well-known facility here. They wanted to come here because they were told about it. And when they got there, they found out there was a step, one little foreign step to get into the facility. And they were like, sorry, do you have another accessible restaurant? We're not going there. We fight against that at home. And when I took it to the owner, like, hey, he's like, yeah, I wonder why you guys came. And then you left without sitting. I said, yeah, you know, they fight this at home, that.
The Bermuda Tourism Authority, the BTA, wants accessibility issues fixed in time for the World Triathlon Grand Final in 2021. Mr. Simmons is vice chairman of the Tourism Working Group to make the island more accessible. But he denies that public accessibility is only being addressed due to the impending World Triathlon Grand Final event, which takes place on the island in October of 2021.
Instead of making the island accessible in time for this triathlon event, why not just focus on making it accessible for Bermuda residents, irrespective of the triathlon?
Yeah, that's something we've been doing at for quite a long time, and things take time. Not as fast as I would like, but things are happening. We have a new building code, which covers a lot of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the IBC, the International Building Code, which covers a lot of accessibility.
Greater accessibility for the disabled doesn't just center around wheelchairs.
Well, not just for wheelchair persons. Also, yes, ramping, doorway entrances, restrooms in restaurants, bedrooms in the hotels, and also like Airbnb, private residences that, just tourism accommodations. Also goods and services as far as tour excursions, some of the tour boats.
The BTA says the 2-year deadline is important because the island will welcome a number of triathletes in 2020 and 2021 who have visual impairments or use a mobility device such as a wheelchair. 2 teams from the 2019 MS Amlin World Triathlon Bermuda event have already been interviewed by the working group as part of its research. Glenn Jones, the BTA's Chief Experience Development Officer, wants tourism stakeholders to understand that a more accessible visitor infrastructure equals more visitors, and if businesses lay out the welcome mat for this audience, he says they will spend money and bring their families.
Some residents have asked the question too, why have you waited this time for this triathlon and things like that, but it's been going on a while. A lot of people have been working at it. People have been frustrated because they've been in the trenches for years. And then, it just gets passed on the line to the next person that's an advocate.
Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Well, thanks, Tarai. Making childhood vaccinations that protect against diseases like measles should be mandatory. So says the Shadow Finance Minister Nick Kemp, whom we asked to weigh in on the debate. Mandatory vaccinations made the news after the government revealed alarming statistics showing a decline in the number of people getting their vaccinations. Senator Kemp told Bermuda Broadcasting News requiring everyone to have immunization is vital for a place like Bermuda.
Well, and certainly I don't see why we wouldn't as a party, but in my personal capacity, I'd wholeheartedly support that. The whole point of vaccinations is that as a herd, as a community that we are, we're only as strong at fighting these types of infectious diseases when we have a certain threshold of people immunized. I can't remember if the number's 95 or whatever, but it's a relatively high percentage that need to be immunized to effectively curb or eradicate these types of diseases, your polios, your measles, your mumps, rubella, all the standard vaccinations we get. And of course, it's not so much your own child that is the challenge if they're healthy and can get immunized, but the very young, the very old, the infirm, there's certain categories of people that cannot get immunized. And so by everyone being immunized who can, you prevent the spread of a disease that would very easily kill those members of our community who cannot have the vaccination.
And weather now. Let's head over to the AccuWeather headquarters for the latest.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast is brought to us by the BF&M Insurance Group. We are dealing with some pretty nice weather across Bermuda. You can see we had to pull this map out a bit to find the closest showers as estimated by satellite. So they are way to the south, hundreds of miles away. We are in good shape. Temperatures are around 73 to 74 degrees right now. Maybe a half a degree warmer on the northeast side with that onshore breeze from the east-northeast. Water temperature still around 75. In fact, it fell about a half degree down to 75. On the inside, we have 2 to 3 foot waves. On the outside, 5 to 8 footers churning away out there. But the most recent small craft warning has just expired from the Bermuda Weather Service office. No current marine warnings or alerts for tonight. And we have decent improving boating weather over the next couple days. So we recently had a low tide. The tide's going to be coming back in until 12:05. High tide then. Low tide at 6:49 Thursday morning and a high tide right around midday tomorrow. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows around 66 degrees. No major complaints out there. We'll have a partly sunny setup with a decent little breeze to keep things moving along. But again, the wave heights will not be out of hand. 75 for your expected high. We're between two troughs, and in this situation, we're going to be dealing with some pretty decent weather for the next couple of days. Here we are Thursday morning. No complaints. There will be some clouds at times, a bit of a breeze from the north and northeast, and those clouds will be a little more stubborn at times, even into Friday. But there will be intervals of sunshine as well. So we head south into Jamaica and Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, across the Caribbean. Scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder into places near Kingston. And we're dealing with a quiet setup from a tropical threat standpoint. No tropical storms, hurricanes, or depressions. But we need to be looking ahead to hurricane season, which does begin on June 1st. As we look at the Gateway forecast, we have some showers in Toronto, 57. Similar temperatures, but a little drier to New York City on Thursday with some clouds. Boston, similarly mostly cloudy, mid-50s. Atlanta looks warm, generally dry, holding off for storms later in the week then. And in Miami, scattered showers and storms. We have some London showers, highs around 59. So our 5-day forecast locally looks nice. We're between that trough to the north, another trough well to the south, and we are in the clear for the most part. Now, it won't be crystal clear. There will be some clouds, but there will not be any widespread precipitation of significance, especially during the days. Could be a spotty nighttime sprinkle here and there. But Friday, a little cooler than Thursday, 75 down to 71, back into the mid-70s, and eventually upper 70s Sunday and Monday, some of our warmest days so far this spring. We're going to send it back to you. Enjoy the ride.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane actually the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care. And because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
You've heard it before, don't take my spot. A far from subtle demand by families attempting to grab the most valuable spot at the annual Bermuda Day Parade, boasting plenty of shade and unobstructed views of the floats, majorettes, and of course the gumbays. But reserving those spots has not gone without controversy, with complaints in the past from the city of Hamilton that duct tape is an eyesore. Nevertheless, though, it hasn't stopped residents marking out their turf as early as May 1st. And now it's inspired a song by veteran reggae artist Daddy Yella.
This is serious business. All that's required is duct tape, a black permanent marker, and a strong will to turn up before anyone else. I'm talking about securing a spot along the Bermuda Day May 24th parade route, especially right here on Cedar Avenue. And it's become a laughing point, so much so, it's inspired a satirical calypso soca song by artist Daddy Yella.
I was looking on Facebook and I saw that people was like, gosh, they're out there already? Like, putting down stuff. So I rode through on my bike and I was just looking at everybody and I said, you know what, this would be a nice song to write something about because no one has tackled it in a song. So I figured I'll try it out and just do it for fun.
The song nearly never happened after a bout of the flu last year, plus an unforgiving case of writer's block.
I was stuck on it for a few months because I got writer's block. I didn't know what to. I just had a few lines that I couldn't get. So once I got it, took it to the studio and knocked it out.
Since then, the buzz around Don't Take My Spot has snowballed online, with some saying it could be the next summer anthem. It was an unlikely hit, too.
Most people know me as doing reggae, so this particular song was a curveball. I threw a curveball on everybody because they're not used to me doing this type of music. So that's just showing my diversity, I thought it was funny.
Some say its popularity may be on par with immortalized summer tunes such as Bootsy's Bermudians Love to Drink and Jam Bermuda by Arrow.
They don't even call me Daddy Yella. They shout the whole song title, Don't Take My Spot. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Daddy Yella released his first single, Teach the Ute Man, back in 1984 and has continued to pen songs. However, he says Don't Take My Spot was finished just in time for Heritage Month.
I'll just give you the last part. Bermuda Day is on Wednesday. You're sitting till last week Friday. You're holding a spot with tape on the block and making sure things are okay. You've been sitting along the highway while playing soca and reggae, securing a spot and stacking it up. Been stacking it up since payday. You guys resort all in your cup. Your cooler filled to the top. Made the right spot.
You'll be in for a treat as Daddy Yella is in talks to take center stage during the parade.
Just enjoy yourself on the day. And if I'm in the parade, I'm going to try to make everybody feel real good.
And just to clarify, the parade will take place on Friday, May 24th. There are a few CDs left for sale. If you wanted to warm up for Bermuda Day, you can reach Daddy Yella on 516-0330.
And still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
I got these for seasickness last week, and they're terrible.
That's strange.
I know. I put one behind each ear like you're supposed to, and nothing happened.
These are tablets. You're meant to take them with water.
I got this pump for my asthma. Hasn't changed anything.
Show me how you're using it. It's an inhaler. You're meant to breathe it in.
Well, this toothpaste, definitely off.
It's a hemorrhoid cream.
Well, that explains why my gums are shrinking.
Turning to sports now, Earl Bazin brings us up to speed.
Bermuda Olympic Association has announced a 19-member team that will represent Bermuda later this year at the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru. Making the announcement was the chairman of the BOA Standards Committee, Keturah Horton, parent chief.
For athletics, Shaquille Dill, Dej Miners, Janai parent chief, and Tyrone Smith. For bowling, Gloria June Dill, Patrice Tucker, Damian Matthews, and David Maycock. For cycling, Caitlin Conyers. Rowing, Michelle Shelley Pearson. Sailing, Cecilia Woolman, with crew Michael Woolman and Malcolm Ben Smith. For squash, Noah Brown, Micah Franklin, and Nicholas Kime. And finally for triathlon, Flora Duffy, Erica Hawley, and Tyler Smith.
Chef de mission of the Pan American Games team, Brandon Smith-King, is looking forward to the task at hand.
My goal is really to provide as much support, encouragement for the managers and coaches as well as the athletes so they can perform at their optimal level. Whatever needs to be done, I'm there. You know, if Keturah was a competitor, I also competed, I wouldn't even say what year that was in the Pan Am Games, before you were born. You know, we all understand the hard work and commitment, dedication that goes to qualifying for international competitions such as the Pan American Games. And I don't take my job lightly.
An active first day of racing in the 69th Argo Group Gold Cup saw 36 matches completed across 9 flights and led to a first-timer holding the day 1 lead. Harry Price out of Australia leads the regatta with 5 points from 6 races. He stands tied with veteran Ian Williams, but holds the tiebreaker advantage after defeating Williams head-to-head in Flight 6. Bermuda's Kelsey Dorham, along with his crew Stephen Dickinson, Campbell Duffy, and Heath Fogel remain winless. Holding third place is Chris Poole, while Johnny Burtson and Tovar Mertzky are tied for 4th. Gillian Teixeira and Tyler Lopes continue competing in the CSI Valkenswaard International Horse Jumping event in the Netherlands. Teixeira and Iluna Di Cantero won the CSI 1.35 meter table A against the clock class, and they clocked a clear round time of 55.56. Teixeira and Escalada finished 37th, competing in the CSI 2 1.35 meter table A against the clock with a jump-off class, clocking a time of 69.67, but they also had 4 penalty full points. Competing in the CSI 1.25 meter table A against the clock class, Teixeira and Maya Volo VD Mollendrift finished 28th with a time of 74.34, but they had 4 penalty full points. Competing in the same class, Lopes and Hamlet Di Cantero finished 40th, clocking a time of 87.44, but they would also have 9 penalty full points. The 2018 FEI World Jumping Challenge came to a successful conclusion for Bermuda show jumper Philip Correa and his talented stallion Emerson. The duo secured first place in Category A, the 1.20 meter to 1.30 meter division for Regional Zone 10, and also achieved a 24th place overall out of a field of 278 competitors from around the world. Noah Brown was back in action competing in the $11,000 men's Hyder Trophy Squash Open in New York. Brown would take on 5th seed Henrik Mustonen from Finland in the second round. Mustonen would defeat Brown in straight games 11-6, 11-7, 11-1 in a 31-minute battle. Somerset Seconds have ended day one of their second 11 championship South Group 3-day match against Delray Rollins and his Sussex teammates in the driver's seat. Sussex won the toss and elected to bat, and they would score 311 for 2 declared. In reply, at the close of play, Sussex were in deep trouble at 13 for 3 after just 6 overs. Malik Joe and Sajan Harvey represented St. Johnsbury Academy in the Coaches vs. Cancer Twilight Open Track Meet. Harvey won the men's varsity 400-meter race with a time of 51.99. Joe would finish second while competing in the men's varsity 800-meter race with a time of 2:02.39. Harvey would lead off, and Joe would run the anchor leg for the St. Johnsbury Academy men's varsity 4x400-meter relay team. They clocked a winning time of 3:36.19. During the men's varsity 4x800-meter relay, Joe ran the third leg and Harvey ran the anchor leg for St. Johnsbury, helping the team clock a winning time of 8:30.58. Meanwhile, Isabel Dutronaut has been tearing up the track after her gold medal performance at the Carifta Games, according to Donna Rayner, the president of the Bermuda National Athletic Association. Rayner sent out an email to the media giving an update on Dutronaut. Rayner wrote, Dutronaut competed in a home track meet over the weekend at Suffield Academy. She won the 3,000 meter in a new school record time of 10:18, breaking the previous record of 10:32. She also broke her own Bermuda record, which she set at the Carifta Games that stood at 10:21. She then turned around and won the women's 1,500-meter race in a new school record time of 4:56.11, breaking the previous record of 4:56.75. The Bermuda Futsal Federation Men's Futsal League kicked off inside the Bermuda College Gymnasium last evening. The opening night saw a triple header that produced 47 goals. The first game of the season saw Devonshire Colts overpower 40 Kings, picking up an 11-4 win. Taniko Eve was outstanding for the Devonshire Colts, scoring 4 goals, while 40 Kings goalkeeper Nigel Burgess was most impressive for his team, making save after save. In other matches, Two Touch went down 9-8 to 44s, while Atletico CP defeated the Living Legends 9-6. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Save $1 on fresh ground hamburger, only $2.99 a pound. Imported broccoli crowns, just $2.99 per pound. Blue Diamond Almond Breeze Milk, $5.99 for select varieties of 64-ounce cartons. Save $2.16 on Schmidt Old Time Honey Wheat or Spit Top Sliced Bread, $3.99 for a 20-ounce loaf. Arm & Hammer Laundry Detergent, $5.99 for select varieties of 50-ounce bottles. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more super specials.
You can count on us.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week.
10,000 attendees, 400 exhibitors from more than 70 countries, and a Sheryl Crow concert. We recap the risk management event of the year and talk about the coveted prize Bermuda walked away with. Up in smoke, lessons to be learned from Canada's cannabis policy and some of the biggest pitfalls governments are falling into as medicinal and recreational pot hit the mainstream. Plus, a look at what's being done to turn Bermuda into a year-round destination.
That's Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
Thanks for staying with us. The Bermuda Hospitals Board, the BHB, gave an update on its affiliation with U.S. Hospital Johns Hopkins Medicine, which now includes a continuing medical education program for local doctors. Announcing the update with excitement was BHB CEO Vanetta Simons, who stressed the island's 2 hospitals were important due to Bermuda's isolation.
We are honored to be contributing to the Bermudian health journey. Johns Hopkins Medicine's mission is to improve the health of the community.
Our duty to Bermuda is to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for medical and psychiatric services. While people can choose where they get their care for many elective treatments, we are the only emergency care provider in over 700 miles. And the only hospitals able to respond to national disasters and mass casualty events. This puts unique pressure on us to have more services, equipment, and expertise available than a similar-sized community hospital anywhere else in the world. To help us deliver what is needed at a high quality, we knew we could benefit from a teaching hospital's depth and breadth of expertise, supporting the training of our clinical staff to ensure excellence in our people, and working with us to improve our services to ensure exceptional care. It is BHB's vision to deliver exceptional care across the Mid-Atlantic Wellness Institute, King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, and Lem Fogel Urgent Care Center. Our vision is to do this through strong partnerships to set the foundation for healthy communities.
And that's our broadcast for this evening. I'm Jasmine Patterson. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.